Even if you have just 2 out of 3, there is still hope. Hi, and welcome to Red Evony. I am Akayasha. You can call me Aka. So, covenants. You probably already know how they work, okay? You get a general, all right, like so, and then you get the 3 generals needed for the covenant that you see like so. And then you level them up, put stars, do their cultivation, okay? And then you use the covenant stones to unlock the various covenants. Pretty simple and straightforward. However, you might find yourself between a rock and a hard place if you don't have all the generals needed for the covenant. Well, I'm here to tell you that if you have 2 of the generals and not the last one, yeah, you can still do pretty well on the covenant. Let me show you what I mean. We have Gunther here, for example, okay? Pretty nice general. I'm sure a lot of people are using him in one way or the other. Now, if we look at his covenant, right? These are the 3 generals needed for Gunther's covenant. And as you can see here, I've got Charles the Great and I've got Douglas. But unfortunately, I don't have Melisande. So, yeah, in all likelihood, it'll be very difficult for me to complete this covenant. And we look at Gunther's stats, there's some pretty good stuff in there. In my case, I use him as my siege assistant now, and I would like to get these buffs. So we see all the in-rally stuff that he has here, which are nice. And then we look here at this one, okay? This is a gold covenant stat, and this one is in-rally troop HP 10%. Not just for siege, for all troops. I would really like to get that, okay? And then we see the rest of the stuff that he has there. Marching siege stuff. If possible, I would like to get those as well. But that one general that I have is holding me back. Now, if you are at this point, maybe you've given up on the covenant. But I'm here to tell you, not so. Let's go and take a look at my Gunther. So, this is my Gunther here. Let's take a look at the covenant. That's the covenant right now, and that's how far I have gone. I've been able to do up to the 4th covenant, even though I'm missing 1 general. And great news, I've been able to get that in rally troop HP 10%. So that's applied to my keep in all situations, which is awesome. Now, obviously, I'm still missing the last 2, and those might be a bit tough for me to get. But if you would like to get this far with your own generals, that maybe you're missing one of the Covenant generals, let me show you what I did so that you can use that as a bit of a reference. So this is my Gunther here. You can see he's level 40, okay? 5 stars, right? Then we look at his cultivation. This is how far I've gone with his cultivation. Not perfect, but they're all above 400, which is, pretty okay. All right, so that's Gunther. Let's look at the other generals. So we have Douglas here, okay? As you can see, I got him up to level 38, right? Pretty much maxed out. Okay, so that's Douglas. Now let's look at the final general. So we have Charles the Great here, and he's level 31. So you can see his level is much lower than the other 2. All right? And this is his cultivation. Okay? Again, not quite perfect, but pretty okay. So if you can model your generals against these ones that I've shown here, you can get up to the 4th covenant for the general that you're interested in. And in my opinion, that's pretty nice. Now, let's say you wanted to push further than this. All right? Let's see how far I could go. So what I'll do now is I'll use some of the covenant stones to unlock the 5th covenant, and I'll see how much I still need to get to that point. So here we go. All right, so that's the 5th covenant there, and we can see how many points I still need to complete this. So I still need roughly about 3,000 more points. All right, which is not impossible, but it would be kind of tough. Now, if I wanted to do this, here's how I would go about it. All right, I will try to raise the general's level as high as I possibly can. So Gunther is currently at level 40 and my monarch is at 42. So I could still push him another 2 levels. For Douglas, that would be another 4 levels I need to move him up. And for Charles, that's another 11 levels. Not easy to do, but doable, right? And then the other thing I could do, which under normal circumstances I wouldn't recommend, but if you really wanted to do the covenant, this is also something that you could do. That is ascension. You could do some ascension on the generals and that will increase the stats for their covenant. Again, I wouldn't really recommend this because it's kind of like buying copper with gold. Okay? You could do a lot more with that ascension than just putting it in to get the 5th level covenant. Again, not advisable, but if you wanted to do it, that is something that you could do. So all in all, depending on your level, you could potentially push the covenant up to the 5th one, even if you don't have the 3rd general. That is possible. Not easy, but possible. But of course, if I use some more covenant stones to open the 5th covenant, we can see that I need almost 6,000 points. And unfortunately, unless your monarch is very high, this is likely unachievable without the 3rd general. So, yeah, that's basically what it's going to boil down to. Okay? But if you think about it, how much have you really lost? In this case, if I really wanted to push it, I could, but most likely I'm not going to get that 5th one and the 6th one. So I'm not going to get 5% siege attack, 10% siege defense, and 10% siege HP. All in all, that's not too bad. Especially when you consider how difficult it would be for me to have gotten Melisande. So, yeah, I think if you're in the same kind of situation and you can push it this far, I think you've done okay. And you can carry on using the general and go about your business. All right, now let's look at another example. We have Narcissus here. And I'm sure with the 8th year anniversary that just went by, some of you already have this guy. Okay? Now, let's take a look at his covenant. Right? These are the generals that he needs for his covenant. And I'm sure a lot of you are in the same situation as me and you don't have Lucilla. So in that case, practically speaking, the 4th covenant is probably as far as you're going to be able to go. But then look at the stuff that you get in there. You'll get the march size capacity, which is one of the big things that you want. And this one here. Okay, this is what I'm really after. This ground troop attack 5% because it's a gold stat. Now, I'm not in a position where I'm ready to use Narcissus yet. So having this universal gold stat is going to be great for me. Now, this is my Narcissus. Okay, you can see he's level 31. I haven't really done any of his cultivation yet. And pretty much the same for the other generals that I need for his covenant. So let me use some of the covenant stones and see how far I can go. Okay, so that's the first one. That's the second one. And this is the 3rd one, which I'm after. So now it's time for me to get to work and start working on his cultivation. So I'm going to start working on this and I'll see you in a few seconds on the other side once I've done the cultivation. Okay, so this is his cultivation. I tried to get everything above 300 and this is where I got to. Okay, so let's see how much of the covenant I've done. All right, so we've cleared the first one. I'm pretty close to clearing the second one. So I'm going to go to the other generals. All right, we have Ludwig here. And again, I've not done anything on his cultivation. So let me work on this and let's see where we get up to. Okay, so this is his cultivation, right? So let's go back to Narcissus and see how far we've come on the Covenant. So that's it there. The second one is cleared. Okay, now we'll go to Martinus and try and do some cultivation on him, right? And then we'll see how far we can get. Okay, so this is how far I've gone with his cultivation. Now, let's go back to Narcissus and see what we have. All right, so we're not quite there yet. So I'm going to do a bit more cultivation on the generals and we see where we can go. Alrighty, so I did a bit more cultivation on them. And as you can see, the third one is done. And this was with having all 3 generals round about level 30. So yeah, doing Covenant is still very much possible even if you don't have the final general. So don't give up on it. Now, there are a lot of generals like this that you can get very easy buffs from their Covenant. If you check out this video here, I've made a list of the top generals whose Covenants have easy buffs that will considerably help your game out. So if you haven't already, be sure to check out that video. That's it for me, guys. Thank you very much. Aka signing out.